Why don't you pick on the brain your own size? We got a badass over here. Plus I got your back. Nah, astrophysics black guy. Hating planetary fly. By the way, the answer to your little calculation is I. As in I put the swag back in science. While Isaac Newton was lying and sticking daggers and lightnings and hiding up inside his attic on some Harry Potter business. The universe is infinite, but this battle is finished. Whole war! Whole shine! You decide! There's a devil inside, and he don't play. Up in the morning, out on the job, work like the devil for my pay. But that lucky old sun has nothing to do but roll around heaven all day. Fuss with my woman, toil for my kids, sweat till I'm wrinkled and gray, while that lucky old sun has nothing to do but roll around heaven all day. My soul is tired and my sad heart's aching. The joy and hope all gone. There's no need for a back that's breaking. Misery lingers on. So many troubles, sorrow and pain. Can't go on living this way. While that lucky old sun, he got nothing to do but roll around heaven all day, all day. Would you hear my plea, good Lord above? Can't you know I'm pining? The tears all in my eyes. Send down that cloud with a silver lining. Lift me to paradise. Show me that river and take me across. Wash all my troubles away like that lucky old sun. Give me nothing to do but roll around heaven. Oh, roll around heaven, roll around heaven, all around heaven all day.
The Bible teaches that we are going to have a body, and it's going to be a body like that of Christ. The Bible teaches that the ultimate goal of the true believer is going to be a place called heaven or paradise. It's not going to be a place where we sit under palm trees and have a beautiful girl fan us, as some people envision heaven. It's going to be a place where we work. And I think that we are going to be able to go from planet to planet and from one part of the universe to the other, and I think we're going to be able to go as fast as thought. And I think we're going to have other worlds to conquer. We're going to have tremendous enterprises that we're going to do on other planets. And I think there are many indications in the Bible about this. We're not going to go and just sit down and rest and relax. Now, the first few years, I'd like to rest a while and play a little golf.
Sure.
And I hope they have golf balls and
They have a great course. They have a great course.
Because I'll miss it if we don't. But I asked my wife one day, who's a great student of the Bible, I said, Ruth, do you think there's going to be golf in heaven? She gave a marvelous reply. She said, if golf is important for your happiness, it'll be there.
Since the Creator designed it and created it and sustains it, He understands it. He knows that the earth is spherical, not flat, that it turns on an axis, is not static, that it is suspended on nothing, that it sweeps through space in a fixed rotation and a fixed orbit in its own solar system, and at the same time is dragged by the center of this solar system, the sun, through the entire space as the whole orbiting set of planets and sun that we know has an orbit of its own that runs from one end of heaven to the other. If it's true, the Bible is true. If it's not true, the Bible is suspect. If you look at it the other way, if the Bible is true, then this is true. The issue, friends, is fidelity to the truth. This is theological. I'm very much aware of the interest in creation research. I'm very interested in science that is being done today by Christians who believe in creation. But I think there's a very large missing component, and that is the biblical theology of creation. They seem to always be trying to prove their point that evolution doesn't exist by using some scientific method. Well, God has a word for you. Where were you when I did it? You were nowhere.
Schweinhund, take him away! But fearless leader! And let it be a lesson, Georgi. Don't trust anybody!
Good morning, and welcome, sinners. This is the Critical Christian Crowd. I am your laconic lay leader, Lon Lincoln Live. Here in West Central Minnesota, it's a beautiful day. Snow flurries, heavy snow flurries. And Margaret and the Moose. And Joel Osteen. I got Joel Osteen's book out here, so for all you space knobs out there who believe in outer space, you may want to get this too. This way you can live your best life now. Live your best life now. No need to have a reward in heaven because you guys are already going to heaven. You're already going to heaven. Isn't that amazing? All the heliocentrics are already going to heaven. That's what their Artemis thing is. They're down here. Yeah. Their Artemis launched. Their Artemis took off. Did Artie miss the moon? Sure looks that way. It's been a good week for God. It's been a good week for memes. I tell you what, I've never seen one picture get more airplay than this one right here. This is just a thing of beauty. As we all know, there's only up and down. Now, they'll tell you when you get to outer space, there is no up or down in outer space. Of course there's no up and down in outer space. Of course there's. Why would there be up and down in outer space? Outer space is the opposite of everything on this static breadth realm. Are we figuring this out yet? Are we figuring this out yet? Good morning, Saturday, early upper chitty chatter birds looking for worms that are all underground because it's freezing everywhere across the great U.S. and of A. It's cold outside this morning, campers. It is freezing. Actually, Minnesota's probably warmer than most of the rest of y'all. Your best life ever. Good gravy. Did he actually go there? He did. Well, obviously, you see we have some set designs here. My microphone. I don't have a microphone. Um, the old stinky fisherman who hates to part with $1 because I don't have any. Parted with a few dineros, drachma, yen, and upgraded all of my telecommunications and data transfer technologies. Wow, 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 wow. So you have to start at square one and then start adding plugins. And of course, once the hardware comes, if you don't have the accessories, you'll be waiting by your front door for the Federal Express man to come and bring them to me. Federal Express man, bring me my boxes of dongles. ISO people have to deal with dongles and docks. But it's well worth it. A lot of fun. Moose, by the way, good morning, Moose. Good morning, Margaret. If I didn't say good morning to you both already, Moose, great job on the graphics. We got all sorts of new stuff with the not only hardware upgrades but the software upgrades as well. This is just too much fun. I mean, we're just going to have too much fun. And it all ties in because you got to laugh about stuff like this. You just got to laugh about stuff like this. That's a time lapse photograph. People always say, well, where's everybody with the P900 and P1000 cameras? Oh, they're out there. Believe me, they're out there. But you got to understand, too, the society and the American culture, science culture, expert culture that we now live in. You're not going to see it. You're not going to ever see anything like this. You're never going to see the launch and immediately bending. Because that thing's flying. There's a lot of power. It's impressive taking off. Oh yeah, it's impressive. It's impressive. But that's where it goes. This is documented photographic evidence, which that's all NASA ever gives us is documented image evidences. But here's one. Of course, that little bit at the end was photoshopped in there. Yeah. Or drawn in there with a magic pen. Yeah. Did Artie miss the moon? Yeah. Missed it by that much. No, you don't understand. They got to have their exit trajectory, something like that, some stupid thing like that. I really miss my microphone. Oh well, maybe next week. So yeah, amazing stuff. Like I said, it was a great week for memes. Great week for memes. That was a good one. This was another favorite of mine. That's right. That's why they're taking their own sweet time. And did you notice too that when they finally did launch Artemis 1, Artemis 1, Artemis 1 to the moon. Well, not to the moon, around the moon. Yeah. At night. And it wasn't delayed just a couple of times. I'm going to play a couple of clips on this thing. It wasn't delayed a couple of times. It was delayed 4 times. And then they were supposed to take off last Monday night at 12:04. And they ended up going Tuesday night at 1:07. You figure out the numerology and sigil their nonsense that drives and runs their lives. Anyway, I'm rambling on about that. But yeah, that was a good meme because everybody's watching them. Well, not everybody. We're watching them. You, me, us, we're watching them. So that's a good thing. Yeah, before I get these clips, just a bit of housekeeping too. I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to go that long this morning. But we'll see. We'll see how things fly. We'll see how things fly. Yeah. Before I run these clips on the Artemis thing too, the rocket, they had mentioned that They rolled it out after Florida's hurricane. Was it Ian? I think it was Ian, the big one that wiped out um, Sarabelle Island, whatever that island is down in Florida. Uh, yeah, wiped them all out. They rolled their little fireworks show and helium ship and cardboard box uh, project back inside. Uh, so that big hurricane blew through, and then they rolled it back out. And then this last hurricane that actually hit the Space Coast. Space Coast, get it? Space Coast. People covered up with it. People covered up. Yeah, they didn't roll it back in, so they left it exposed to the elements of a hurricane. That the first hurricane? No, 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 no. We had to take care of it. How about the second hurricane? No, it'll be okay. NASA. You're right. There's so many acronyms. Sanibel Island. Thank you, Mrs. E. Thank you. Yeah. So anyway, but they canceled the launch. Just because they didn't roll it back didn't mean they didn't cancel the launch. They've canceled it 4 times. So it finally goes. It finally goes at night. At night. So we'll see. I mean, I would like to think that within the parameters of the biblical cosmology group and the FEers, someone would capture some P900 P1000 imagery video of the straight up and straight down, because there is no going into outer space. This picture shows exactly what happens. We know that because there's no curvature anywhere, no measurable curvature, there's only one place that it can go. So you have to believe in the whirling, twirling, spinning ball, because on a whirling, twirling, yeah, there's the curve right over the horizon there. See, and as you go to the horizon, then the curve that goes up, and that's escape velocity. That's what it is, escape velocity, and it needs to go around the Earth a couple times before it shoots out into outer space towards the moon, because it can just break the natural gravity of the Earth's hot molten center. Jeez, that's enough. Doesn't make any sense. I mean, it makes sense if you know that you live on a ball. But if you know the truth, if you read your Bible, you understand the biblical description of heaven and earth, thank you very much, then this all of a sudden just looks ridiculous. Because it is. It's just ridiculous. But what a great picture. What a great photo. And it's all over the Book of Faces. It's all over social media. It's sorry, NASA. Like I said, you can shut up every FEer and every biblical cosmologist by doing one simple thing. Take one of your great big rockets and shoot it straight up as fast as you can go. And let everybody record it. Let everybody document it. That's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. Because this is too important. This is way too important. And I don't know whether I had the other. Let me check real quick. I got some great photos. No, I didn't bring it over. Thank you for letting me do that. Um, the one photograph that they have released, that NASA, yes, darling, okay, we're going to give you one picture. We are going to the moon for the first time in 60 years. We are going back to the moon. Maybe we go, maybe it blows up. We don't know, we're NASA. So anyway, it's going to the moon, and then you take a look, and there's a picture of the Earth from the Orion space capsule. Of course, I don't know don't ask us about what kind of extension arm was out that could get a picture of both the Orion and then the Earth in the background, but we did it because we're NASA. We can do anything we want. Space is as comfortable as a spring day in Florida in the afternoon. That's outer space. It's beautiful. Forget about the 10 to the minus 17 torr vacuum. Forget about all that. Forget about no oxygen, no gravity, sun's gravity, moon gravity, Earth gravity, solar system gravity, Milky Way gravity, universal gravity. Forget about all of that. We just go from point A to point B. That's what we do. It's Saturday. It's Saturday. Let's have fun on Saturday. Yeah, so that's that. And, I know I'm a little full of myself this morning, but this is the whole point, you know, for God fearing, Jesus loving, spirit led Christians. This is a no brainer. It's not a reflective light, folks. It's or a reflective rock. It's a light. It's a light. That's the biblical description of the moon. It's a light. It's the lesser light. So all this hocus pocus that they're trying to pull is just ridiculous. A couple other empirical truths as we continue on here. Um, exactly. And I love these little. And here was another thought I Christian pondered. I gave to the obedience of Christ. Remember the old. Most of you don't. Some of my old as dirt, old as Israel, then us, then the dinosaurs that never even existed. Um, I forgot my point here. Remember? Oh shoot! All right, I got too carried away. Uh, it'll come back to me. Anyway, the point about zero straight lines on a sphere. You know, biblically speaking, that doesn't even come into it because there is no description in the Bible of a round spherical Earth or a pear shaped Earth or a watermelon shaped Earth or a golf ball shaped Earth. None of that. None of it. It's just not there. It's just not there. Right. And when you look at the geometry of a sphere, you start finding definitions, surface definitions, right? Perpetual curvature in all directions. From any 2 points on a sphere, connect those 2 points. It's perpetual curvature anywhere, anywhere. There are zero, none, said the Pope, straight lines on a sphere. They're just not. And Earth is dirt. Earth isn't a ball. Earth isn't a planet. Earth is dirt. I don't know why we keep having to repeat this. Earth, pulled from the great deep, seas that were bound by the hand of God. They will go no further than these boundaries. That's Bible. So somewhere, somehow, um, folks got to understand. All right. I don't know that they will. Maybe they will. All right. A little bit of housekeeping here. I will, and then I'm going to play the clips, and we'll have a little chit chat amongst the small group this morning. And speaking of housekeeping, let me just rail on the tube of few through all this transition time and downtime. We got, and believe me, as the least watched, least viewed vlogcast podcast in the history of the tube of few, Fisherman in the Box, just the way we like it. Um, it's no surprise, but we got up to, and we don't look at the numbers, we got up to 832 subscribers. Every day it clicks down. They just take one away. Click, 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 click. The numbers don't matter. But the nonsense as to why the numbers are the numbers, I got people. And listen, I'm just a little guy. I'm just a digital whittler. I'm just an old piece of God whittled wood. I'm having fun and fellowship and doing what we do here. Edify, encourage, admonish, and correct where it's required. But this is it's silliness. Anyway, so housekeeping. After I have a family obligation on Thanksgiving Day. So either Saturday or Sunday after Thanksgiving, depending upon how my old bones feel. All right, let's get to these silly clips. And Uncle Neil lost his mind. This is from a year ago. He appeared on. James Cordon Bleu, that English speaking knob. And new rule for the new world normal too. New rule for all Americans. You got an English accent, and you're pious, and you're like James Cordon Bleu, and who's that other Claude Hopper? I can't remember. Well, Trevor, no, I think he's already cooked his own goose. Anyway, these late night comedians with English accents, I, that doesn't work anymore. Okay, now you just seem ridiculous. Anyway, I'm getting way off on a tangent. So anyway, Uncle Neil goes on this late night show, and it was a Zoom chat because the whole nation was locked down. But Uncle Neil's a good one because Uncle Neil always tells you what's coming, what's coming. And within the context of this little video vignette, you'll hear Uncle Neil say that the pandemic was just a dress rehearsal for the alien invasion. And would the country come together and trust science 100%? And he was disappointed because they didn't come together as one and do what science told them to do. He was mad at that. You know why? Because he's the high priest. He's the high priest of the heliocentric model. He just is. He's the high priest. People worship and adore him. James Cordon Bleu welcomed him and introduced him as the mighty Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's the pope of the science world, of the astrophysical realm. Astrophysical. That's an oxymoron. Anyway, just killing time. So let's go straight to the duck, shall we? Let's go straight to the duck. The disco duck. All right, here we go.
Why don't you pick on the brain your own size? We got a badass over here. Plus I got your back. Nah, astrophysics black guy. Hating planetary fly. By the way, the answer to your little calculation is I. As in I put the swag back in science while Isaac Newton was lying and sticking daggers and lightnings and hiding up inside his attic on some Harry Potter business. The universe is infinite, but this battle is finished. The drill. I've got a blue pill and I've got a red pill. You take the blue pill, you go back to your fantasy reality. The red pill is reality stripped bare. Free your mind.
Please welcome the mighty Neil deGrasse Tyson. There he is. Neil, it's been so long.
Ready, set, go.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, how long are we as a species on this spinning orb? How long have we got?
It was a dry run for like an alien invasion. Aliens will attack all humans. Will we band together to attack back? Apparently not. And then they wake up the next morning, they're basically in a cave. They might as well be, because that's where we're headed right now. Back to the cave. Or I'm gonna choose what I want to do based on my own politics, my own beliefs, my own culture. And I'm thinking, you don't have that option. The science is true whether or not you believe in it. Will anyone show up at work anymore sneezing and coughing? It used to be, oh, they're a hard worker. They're working even while they're sick. Today, if you show up like that, the eject button gets pushed. No, there's no room for your sneezy snot in the office place. There's a badge of honor among those who are scientifically literate. And if you're running around without a mask, you're not one of those who's gonna, it's your advice that will be responsible for the end of civilization, not its continuance.
Anything you post has to get verified by you before it's allowed to be posted up there. Would you do that for us, Neil?
Listen to me. Let's say we want to try to find another planet, and then you have people banding together telling us that Earth is flat. Well, I don't know.
It's amazing, isn't it, Saints? Absolutely amazing. All right, wrap it up.
Science needs better marketing.
I don't know what to say. I'm trying. I'm trying.
Well, you are.
Yeah, he's going to get fired. He's going to get fired. But it just won't go away. Unfortunately, the biblical cosmology truth is never going to go away. It's never been away. It's always been there. But people either try to make that truth into something for themselves, becoming little gods with a G unto themselves, or, as far as the world is concerned, the worst case scenario is these are those crazy religious folks, these extremists, these right wing extremists. What? All I'm doing is telling you what the Bible says, and I'm an extremist in America for that? If you folks haven't figured this out yet, I really miss my microphone. Calm down, Christian. If you haven't figured it out yet, you've been cooed. When a coup d'etat is underway and the coup occurs, many times the majority of the people don't even know they've been cooed. They don't know they're in a coup. Ponder that for a while, will you? Because at the same time that all these high prices and inflation that, according to old Joe, we're not in, um, but you can see it down the road. You can see it with your eyes. You can feel it with your fingers. You can taste it with your mouth. You can smell it with your nose. You can hear it with your ears. Gas prices are up. Food prices are up. Rent's up. Everything's up. And it's not coming down. And the winter's here now. Well, it's coming. Minnesota winter's here. Winter's always here in Minnesota. All right. But you've been cooed, and you're under the coup. And the midterms elections should have been a little bit of an indicator to you that no, they're not cheating. They're not cheating. All these elections are fair. The whole nation has been overrun with people who have zero discernment. Zero. See, discernment is a spiritual thing. It's not a secular thing. It's not a worldly thing. You're expecting people in the secular realm, people without God, without fathers, without souls, to think correctly. No, they're not going to. They're not going to think correctly. That's their whole gig. They think incorrectly. They think of the world. I just thought the love of the world, the love of the world, so hard for people to reject the love of the world. They'd rather reject Christ. Isn't that sad? That's kind of sad, but that's amazing too. All right, so that was old Uncle Neil. Uncle Neil and Bob for more space apples. By his own admission, he admits that he's a outer space monkey. He's got the same DNA as monkeys. Listen, that's not me saying that. That's him telling everybody he's got the same DNA as monkeys. No difference between him and a monkey. Okay. That's your heliocentrism. That's your Darwinism. That's your big bangery. Okay. You're a monkey then. I listen. If you want to reject God and reject the biblical description of heaven and earth, your own reality, if you want to reject that, fine. Then be a Darwinistic monkey, a space monkey. Maybe one of these offerings we'll do one where we review what happened to all the outer space monkeys and cats and mice that they strapped onto Werner's rocket ships and sent up to the moon. They killed a lot of animals. Then they started killing humans. Gus Grissom. And whenever they need to make a sacrifice, they make a sacrifice. Scary when you look at it from that perspective, isn't it? I mean, it's not scary. It's eye-opening. It's eye-opening. It's ear-filling. It's mind-blowing. All right, I think I've got one more. And now let's take a little half-hour post-break here. Good morning. Sour Apples is in the chat. Soren, Will Soren is in here. Nice to see you. Tony Forrester, promise kept as always. Mrs. E, thank you. Nice little nucleus this morning. Yeah. So Mark Hollander was in there early too. Good morning, Mark. Nice to have him there. He's been in Tuba Few Huskow. He's been in a Huskow. I was looking for that. I didn't want to call Dachau a Hooskow. Dachau's not a Hooskow. Dachau's something else. Yeah, that's another offering down the line. And there she is. Our lady from Spain. Good morning, Ms. B. We're just kind of having fun here today. One more little clip, and then we'll wrap it up. We're trying to touch double digits, but this thing was poorly organized. Margaret. And I haven't been able to welcome everybody by type chat this morning because I'm trying to keep an eye on this new stuff. So old, slow, and I got that thing. So, all right, here we go. Here's the second clip. It was good fun. Good fun. All right, enjoy.
We're not talking about one hungry plant here. We're talking about world conquest. And I want to thank you. You're not going to get away with this. Your kind never does.
NASA's Big Moon rocket is back out on the pad at the Kennedy Space Center. This time-lapse video shows the rocket making its way back out there after 2 scrubs and return to shelter ahead of Hurricane Ian.
West Shoe's Scott Heidler is at Kennedy Space Center with the details on the Artemis 1 SLS rollout and when we might see that next launch attempt for the test mission.
We're gonna do things my way, or we won't do things at all. You in trouble now.
Once the SLS is on the launch pad, the clock starts ticking on the certification of the flight termination system, which ensures if the rocket were to veer off course, it would detonate and not harm the public. A flight termination system, or FTS, is required on all rockets. The SLS was rolled out to Kennedy Space Center Launch Pad 39B on November 4th ahead of the latest launch attempt. Per the U.S. Space Force, the flight termination system batteries have a 25-day lifespan before those need to be replaced. NASA was granted a waiver in September to extend that deadline while the agency attempted to launch the rocket again, but due to Hurricane Ian, the SLS was rolled back into the vehicle assembly building.
Hydrogen leaks, especially the connection at the back of the rocket that leads to the fuel source.
But I think that's the number one thing that anybody's going to be concerned with moving forward. So far, the countdowns have been pretty smooth, other than the hydrogen issues.
This test flight will kick off a series of Artemis missions with the goal of setting up a permanent base on the moon, ultimately leading to astronauts exploring Mars.
Astronauts are always willing and able to take enormous personal risks, just like the brave men and women in uniform. This doesn't provide carte blanche for their superior officers to throw their lives away. This doesn't justify purposely building unsafe launch systems to gratify political or contractor expediency. It certainly doesn't build a legacy of steadily more routine, cheap, and safe access to space and a culture of exploration. There will always be a few brave souls willing to get on any rocket that points up. But we cannot regard ourselves as a serious space-faring nation if we run the space program like an exercise in Patagonian base jumping, which incidentally is safer and much cheaper.
I'm just a mean green mother from outer space, and I'm bad.
Outer space? Outer space?
You know I don't come from no black lagoon. I'm past the stars and beyond the moon. Yeah. You can keep the thing, keep the it, keep the creature. They don't mean.
Yep, just space stage and it's a space stage and space actors. It's a stage and actors. That's all it is. A couple interesting points though. In the physical world, the natural realm, these batteries that they're attached to their booster rockets, 25 day shelf life on them. So that was it, which makes me say, okay, so they got to have these batteries to do the electronics, I guess, for the booster, the two that fall away and then land back on Earth. Oh, that's not NASA. Elon's big, gigantic 1,000,000-ton cylinders. They land on their own, upright, like a pencil. If you dropped a pencil, the pencil would stick to the ground on its eraser. Yeah. NASA's don't do that. They fall out in the ocean somewhere and pick them up. Yeah. But there are batteries on it. 25-day shelf life. So if there are batteries on that, you have got to presume, and I just haven't done the research. Of course, there's battery power on the Orion space capsule. There has to be. There has to be power on it, and that can only be done by batteries, whether they're lithium batteries or lidocaine batteries or Hall's mentholyptus batteries. It doesn't matter. They got to have batteries on there to power the thing. But this is supposed to be like a 47-day trip, 42 to 47-day trip. That's what the early press releases said. They'd orbit the moon or orbit the Earth a couple of times and then get that escape velocity and slingshot themselves to the moon's gravity. Forget about the sun's gravity, pulling that little piece of tin, sucking it straight into the sun. That doesn't happen. No, and that picks up the moon's gravity. Yeah, and then it's supposed to go around and take some pictures and come back. Well, if there's a 25-day shelf life on the booster rocket batteries, what kind of battery life is there in a much smaller, very small area for a 40-day trip? For a 40-day trip, what kind of batteries? Listen, this battery issue has always been a thing with me because it doesn't make any sense. Your batteries listen, the whole outer space thing doesn't make any sense, but even by their own model, it doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. If they're in outer space, the sun is always shining on them. Once they're away from the shadow of the earth, the sun is always shining on them, always. So it's going to be hot. By their own admission and numbers, anywhere from plus 257 degrees Fahrenheit to 4,000. It's insane, these amount of heats. Now, you know, we know. I know, you know, we know, we all know. You, me, us, we get it. And folks' inability to just, it's frightening. Good morning to our princess from Jakarta. Fisherman of Ox, critical Christian crowd. Heard all across God's static breath realm. Yeah, so much for around the world. All right, I think I'm going to wrap it up. I know this is a short one, but I appreciate you all coming in. Yeah, Tony says those are the same batteries that they used in 1969. You're probably right, my friend. You are probably right. Well, since there were no comments on the sound, I'm going to assume that the sound was okay. If the good Lord is willing and the lakes don't freeze, but even if they freeze, I'll be up here. Hopefully we'll have our normal setup here. Because I do feel a little naked without that microphone right there. But what are you going to do? I got Joel Osteen right there telling me I can live my best life now. And I got a ceramic cookie jar that's possessed and a stuffed moose. Well, what else do you need? Fish on the wall? Rubber biscuit. All right, I'm done. Margaret, this would be a nice time for you to do what you're supposed to do. I don't know if there's any chance of that happening. There it is. There it is. They're all cozy and deliciously chatty in the old chitty chat this morning. Well, there was a ton going on, but unfortunately, my focus is been on this, getting these upgrades put in. New effects, software effects. It's just fun, It's fun. Just an old digital whittler. That's all. Well, Tony came in this morning. I'm going to try to get the Billy Joel shaver number on for him. Try. Been a little by the seat of the pants this morning. But it is good to see you all this morning. And, yeah. we'll just close the. Just say goodbye. Take the peace, joy, love of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ be with you this day and every day. Thank you, Lord. It's a beautiful day, and thank you, Lord, for the fellowship and all the fine folks. All right. Goodbye, everybody. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Say goodbye.
God Almighty, I hope you'll find me praising your name no matter what comes. I can't count the times I've called your name some broken night, and you showed up and patched me up like you do every time. I get amnesia, I forget that you keep coming around. There ain't no way you ever let me down. Good God Almighty, I hope you find me praising your name no matter what comes. 'Cause I know where I'd be without your mercy. So I keep praising your name at the top of my lungs. Tell me, is he good? He's good. Tell me, is he God? He's God. He is good God Almighty. You say your love goes on forever, that your mercy never stops. So why would I assume you'll be somebody that you're not? Like sun in the morning, I know you're gonna be there every day. So what on earth could make me be afraid? Good God Almighty, I hope you'll find me praising your name no matter what comes. 'Cause I know where I'd be without your mercy. So I keep praising your name at the top of my lungs. Tell me, is he good? He's good. Tell me, is he God? He's God. He is good God Almighty. Praise him in the morning, praise him in the noontime, praise him when the sun goes down. Love him in the morning, love him in the noontime, love him when the sun goes down. Good God Almighty, I hope you'll find me praising your name no matter what comes. 'Cause I know where I'd be without your mercy. So I keep praising your name at the top of my lungs. Tell me, is he good? He's good. Tell me, is he God? He's God. He is good God Almighty. Jesus in the morning, Jesus in the noontime, Jesus when the sun goes down. Jesus in the morning, Jesus in the noontime, Jesus when the sun goes down.
There's always someone walking among us.
went to church last Sunday so I could sing and pray. There's something quite unusual that happened on that day. The church, it started right on time, just like it does without a doubt. And everything was all just fine, except when it came time to let us out. Oh, the preacher, he kept preaching. He told us, I have one more thing to say, children, before you think of leaving. You better think about the judgment day. Everyone got nerves. Everyone was hungry too. And everyone was wondering what was the next thing he would do. The preacher kept preaching. He said, now I'll remind you if I may, you all better pay attention. I might decide to preach all day. Everyone was getting so hungry that the old ones started feeling ill, and the weak ones started passing out. The young ones they could not sit still. The preacher's voice rose. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I snuck up to the balcony and I crept into the choir. And I begged them, brothers, sisters, help me please. I said, when I give you a signal, I said, when I raise up my hands, won't you please join me together? Praise the Lord, I have a plan. Preaching, yeah, preaching. Long is the struggle, hard fight. I pray, Father, please forgive me. And I stood up and with all my might sang to the Lord, praises be. It's time for turning around, let's go. Got some things and some good cornbread. Listen to what the preacher said. Now it's to the Lord, let praises be. It's time for turning around, let's go. Jesus Christ is the toughest man alive. He saved my soul when he was crucified. When I get in a fight, he's always on my side. The tough get going when the going gets tough. Yeah, the tough get going when the going gets tough. When it comes to trouble, too much ain't enough. Question me, will I ever leave you? The answer is no, 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 no. Question is, will I ever leave? No, 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 no. Let me tell you why I love the Lord. He's so dear to me. Oh, he died that I might be free. I was asked this question years ago, and the answer is still no. Now the question is, will I do his will? And the answer is yeah. Yeah, yeah. So the question is, will I do it sweet? And the answer is yeah, 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 yeah. I'm presenting my body, a living sacrifice. All I ever want to do is the will of Christ. I was asked this question, and the answer is yeah. Now the question is, when will Jesus return? Somebody help me say, soon, soon, soon. Trouble all over the world. I'm telling every man, woman, boy, and girl, Jesus is coming so soon, so soon. Yeah, soon.
Thanks a lot for searching that out. I appreciate that. Fisherman in the Box. Fisherman in a Box.